you are someone who struggles with mental health disorders, namely borderline personality disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, or depression, please watch this video. It is gonna be kind of long and it's not gonna be for everyone, but I feel like God has put this video in your path for a reason if this comes across your page. So I just pray that you will hear me out and listen to the things that I have to say and then take it from there. I just need approximately 10 minutes of your time. This video has been on my mind to make for a while, but I think God has saved the moment of me making this video for this moment because my emotions are all over the place right now, and so it's going to come across very authentic for my testimony. I am feeling very emotional. I am feeling sad, disappointed, just a number of different emotions. And I also struggle with PMDD, which means that life is frustratingly hard for me during that time of month. I'm going to share my backstory. Okay. I am someone who grew up in a toxic household. My father was a very angry person. He was physically abusive and emotionally abusive, more so emotionally than physically. My stepmother at the time, I'm pretty sure she had a borderline personality diagnosis, and so she would have moments where she would be over the moon with my father. My father had hearing loss, and that makes relationships difficult, speaking from my own experience with my own hearing loss. And whenever she would get mad at him, she would lash out and say the most vile and hateful things, sometimes behind his back, where only the kids could hear and he couldn't hear, or sometimes to his face, and they would just attack each other. And so I never really saw what a loving home was supposed to look like. I was very depressed throughout my teen years. I actually tried to myself 2 times. I ended up in the psych ward both times, and I got the mental health counseling and therapy and medication that I needed at that time. I saw a social worker for a good portion of my later teen years, and I truly believed at the time she saved my life. She allowed me to feel like a person rather than the dirt at the bottom of someone's shoe. Like I wasn't some naive young teenager who didn't have thoughts and opinions, and she had a way of making me feel like a human, not bound by age. So anyway, I rebelled a lot as a teenager and made stupid decisions, and I got married young, and our marriage was very hard in the beginning because neither of us knew what we were getting ourselves into. I ran away from one problem into a whole new set of problems that I wasn't prepared for. Anyway, with maturity and counseling, I eventually got off medications. I know that's not possible for everybody, and I'm not judging you if you are on any sort of medication or if you're in counseling. I know my story is not your own. That being said, I got into the holistic world, and so I began to THC. And so I did the whole 420 thing for years, and I would brag about how it's the best thing in the world and how my emotions were fixed and how I was on top of the world and all you really needed was some THC, blah, blah, blah. I was very naive, and it was just basically a form of dissociating from my problems. And I see that now people can weaponize having borderline personality disorder because I was eventually diagnosed with borderline personality disorder along with generalized anxiety disorder and depression. Well, as maturity came in and I switched from pharmaceutical medications to manage my mental health issues, I switched from that to the THC, and I thought I was all the better for it. And what was really happening was that I was drowning out my emotions and allowing me to feel things, and just basically, I guess, for back of a letter explanation, putting a band-aid on my emotions and whatnot.